So over the last week in the world of Counter-Strike, new bugs have been discovered leading to server-wide problems within CS2, causing the entire game to stutter, crash, and for players to fall through the map. Miscellaneous changes have also been made to Valve's FAQ page for VAC, which has led to many players thinking an update for this is on the way. And in terms of VAC, VACnet 3 seems to be working more than ever before, at least depending on the player and depending on the region. We can also see that CS2's market is being pumped to new highs, with some of it making sense and some of it not. As it stands for this very moment, Valve is currently cooking, and Counter-Strike players are now in the waiting room. After new leaks, is it Team Fortress 3, CS2's first operation-like update, the full release of VACnet 3? Welcome everyone back to another episode of CS2 News. This is where we break down all and everything Counter-Strike, if that's the market, community-wide problems, the pro scene, updates, Valve, VAC, content, you name it. Today's video, we deep dive into just about everything, so sit back and enjoy. But before we do so, I want to give a big thanks to SkinSwap for sponsoring today's video. SkinSwap is a CS2 site where you can buy, sell, and trade your CS items. And right now they're giving you a free skin worth up to $50 once you've completed your first trade. To start trading, all you have to do is select the skins you no longer want, pick the new items, and watch them fall into your inventory. With just a few clicks, you can also instantly cash out or buy skins using a payment method of your choice. With an inventory that holds a wide variety of skins, users can enjoy SkinSwap's daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways. Thanks again to SkinSwap for sponsoring today's video. If interested, the link will be at the top of the description down below. Now, before we go any further in today's episode of CS2 News, this is myself on the posted it, and I would like to quickly mention that yes, we did just get a new update just a couple of days back, but there's still quite a bit that has gone unnoticed and unfixed, such as the bugs of players in the bomb falling through the map, and even after multiple changes and quote-unquote fixes to the knives after Animograph 2, well, they're still broken, which really puts a dent into the time frame of when we can expect these changes, well, to be perfected, knives to look better, and just to feel normal again. What we could take away from this most recent update and the majority of CS2's problems, at least as of recently, is that CS2 devs need more people on the team, but most importantly, they need to take their time when releasing these types of updates. Because if the rumors are true where there's only 5 people or less who are managing CS2 at any given time, that's a serious problem. Now, firstly, for today's video, I do want to break down a new bug that has just been discovered within CS2 servers, which takes me back to just a few days ago where I found this out happening myself, as well as some other of my friends while I was playing Premiere. Essentially, what was going on is you're just playing some casual Premiere, and I started lagging, stuttering around the map, and things just kind of felt off. Maybe it was a bad driver update, I'm not sure. The main gist of this is I thought it was on an individual level, I thought it was my PC, until I figured out and I said something that pretty much everyone in that call, a 5-stack, was also all having those problems. So it wasn't just my setup, it was also everyone else's setup, and all these people also play in different regions, and they also play on different servers. This happened while playing together and separate. I don't really want to sugarcoat it or make it sound like it's crazy because it's nothing really too noticeable, at least to where you lose a gunfight. But if you're really paying attention, you'll start to notice some minor server problems. I wanted to ask if you guys have also experienced this, and if you did, have you found a fix, or are you just waiting like the rest of us for Valve to send out a patch? But quickly, since we are on the topic of bugs, let's now discuss VAC. Now, the topic of VAC, VACnet 3, this right here is all my own opinion, but I also have several other people, including people IRL, on different setups in different regions, also all reporting the same thing, similar to the stuttering bug that we talked about earlier. That being about VAC is seemingly working better, at least than normal, at least as of recently. Cheating was really horrendous, especially after Animograph 2 released. It was like VAC was almost turned off for a little while, as to now, for most people, it feels like it's on. Now, I know this is not the most popular opinion on this, but I think as of right now, VAC for me anyway is doing its job. Just because it is for me on those days doesn't mean it's doing that for everyone else. I am well aware of that. But what caused VAC to be weird in the first place after Season 3 launched, and specifically Animograph 2, was apparently, according to people behind the scenes, after Animograph 2, a lot of VAC data was completely wiped, which obviously caused an influx of cheating. Now, please someone help that make sense. That's what I know. That's what I want to tell you guys. And like we mentioned earlier, things right now seem to be better. I don't know for the future, and it's not like I still don't see, sus people in my games, or even the fact that bot farms are still taking over my death matches with aimbot. What's you guys' experience? Let me know. And of course, speaking of VAC, Aquarius is missing on Twitter found that devs, for whatever reason, changed the web page for VAC's FAQ. Now, looking point blank, you can't really see anything that's changed or anything worded differently, but it's weird to see them changing and playing around with these things just at random. Are they preparing for an update, or is this Valve just being Valve? And I also will state this was also like midnight to 1 a.m. when this was changed over there in Washington, which is where Valve works. Now, also in the realm of gameplay is FPS. Frames, just like a lot of things after the most recent updates, seem to be, and as you can also feel, just are much better within CS2. So right now the 1% lows are not so low and the highs are, well, much more balanced than what they were before. Valve really seems to be optimizing CS2, and after seeing posts and comments about players running 9 series cards or no GPUs at all, I mean, it's not 2015 CSGO anymore. It's time to upgrade and get with the times. Valve is not going to optimize CS2 for your 15-year-old graphics card. It's just not gonna happen. But if you do have a good PC, you do have some problems, there's a guide as of recently that Thor CS2 just put out on his Twitter that's very detailed that I suggest you go check out. Obviously, if you're on a toaster, just run everything on CS2 on low and call it a day. But for those who get decent frames but want better visuals and FPS at the same time, this is your go-to guide. Now, one of the last things I'd like to cover for today's episode of CS2 News is the Stockholm stickers. After 4 years, they seem to be skyrocketing and players don't really know why. Really here, it's mainly the evil genius's hollow. Now, I have my suspicions, but here are some from myself and the CS community. One of them is that players are tired and bored of the same old crappy oversupplied stickers and just want something rare. Number 2 is something that has always been around within Counter-Strike, where players want teams that have stickers in the game that look decent that are no longer here, and while this is the cheapest way to get the best looking of that sticker. At least it was at some point. And then of course the last is that China is pumping these items alongside, well, other items like agents. And what I'll say personally about the evil genius's hollow is that the hollow and the sticker overall is mid at best. This right now is being pumped for, in my opinion, no reason at all, just for the fact it's pumped. I just feel like if you look at other items similar at other times in certain years, with the influx of bot farms and people manipulating the CS2 market, I just get a very good feeling that this is not genuine whatsoever. And are agents in the same boat? Agents as of recently are another item that have seen a huge spike up in price, but really no one has an answer as to why. Now, obviously, aside from these being pumped and manipulated, because, well, getting up in price this much this quickly just doesn't make any sense, nor is it natural. What I will say about agents is that they are rare. They don't seem to be coming back, as operations don't really all seem like they can fit in CS2 with the armory and what's coming soon. So are people getting ready and just preparing themselves for the possibility that in-game characters are not coming back? No, I think this is just straight up manipulation, but it's also the fact of players just wanting a little bit more to customize your character. But I mean, like, damn, paying 60, 70 bucks for some of these things just for an agent that was $5 a few months ago, if not a couple years ago, that's a really hard pill to swallow in order to buy that. But with all that being said, I think it's safe to say that Valve is in the kitchen still cooking, that being the next update, where customization is coming, but most importantly, a new patch for the recently discovered bugs, and the continued problems with Graph 2 is on its way. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Fallout.